Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Truckers Podcast, FYI. I'm your host, Doug from Ontario, Canada. It is 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the 5th of May, 2024. How is your weekend going so far? It is Sunday. Oh, maybe, excuse me, maybe we need an extra day. Maybe we need an extra day to recover from the Maple Leafs syndrome. As we know here in Ontario, that the Maple Leafs were eliminated from the playoffs in Game 7 against the Boston Bruins. It's like another brown bag letdown. And for some, they're probably happy. Maybe they're happy the way Toronto played. You know, Toronto was down 3-1 in the series. It came back and tied the series 3 apiece. Game 7. It was a well-played, hard-fought hockey game. Both teams played really well. Both goaltenders were stellar. Haven't really heard anything from the peanut gallery, meaning the media. Maybe it just hasn't sunk in yet. Or they're sitting down behind their laptops, writing their story. What are they going to write? Here we go again. The Toronto Maple Leafs being eliminated by the Boston Bruins. Can't get the job done. Should the coach be fired? Fire Keefe. Fire the general manager. You know, they're not going to fire the hockey players. Fire top management. For the Toronto Maple Leaf fans, it was a moment of heartbreak. The disappointment. Many fans acknowledged the effort and the determination shown by the Maple Leafs throughout the series. They had their heart on their sleeves. Some fans expressed their disappointment on social media, while others commended the team for a hard-fought series. In the end, sports are about more than just winning or losing. They're about passion, the thrill of the game. And while this loss was undoubtedly disappointing for the Maple Leaf Nation, the support and love for their teams remain unwavering. And the Maple Leaf Nation is eagerly looking forward to the next season, and the season after that, and the season after that one, and to be ready to cheer on their team once again. How important and beneficial is paid sick leave? Are you in the nation? Are you in the Maple Leaf Nation? Are you going to be calling in sick tomorrow? Do you have that benefit of having 10 paid sick days? Maybe you're going to need a week to recover. Maybe you're going to need the rest of the summer to recover. The importance of sick days. So, when it comes to these paid sick days, Ontario has 3. I think PEI only has 2. I think BC is implemented 5, up to 5 days. The federal government has implemented up to 10 days paid sick leave. And that includes all the federal regulated industries. So the paid sick days are a type of employee benefit where workers can take time off from work and still receive their regular pay when they're sick. Employees' health and productivity. Paid sick days allows employees to take necessary time off to recover from an illness without worrying about lost wages. And this can lead to better overall health and increased productivity when the employee returns back to their job. Preventing disease, spreading the flu, whatever illness that you have that is contagious. And if they come back to work sick because they can't afford to take unpaid time off, they risk spreading their illness to others. So more paid sick days can help prevent this. And the employees' morale, offering paid sick days can improve employees' morale and make employees feel valued. And it shows that the employer cares about their health and their well-being. Paid sick days represent a cost to the employers, especially small businesses. They have to pay the absent employee's wage and in some cases the cost of a temporary replacement. And there's always the potential for abuse. If you have paid sick days off, are you going to be one of those people from the Leaf Nations calling in sick tomorrow? Because you have the Maple Leaf hangover. So there is risk that some employers might take advantage of paid sick days and use them when they're not actually sick, shortening their work week. Take Friday off. I'm sick today. It's Friday. I'm going to use up my sick days. I work in the federal regulated industries. I work in the trucking industries. I have 10 days of paid sick leave. So by adding more, Ontario, I don't understand what the government's problem is. The government isn't paying the sick leave. Standard sick leave is 3 days, 3 days paid. So why not 2 more days? They're not paying for it. The employer is paying for it. Administration burden. Managing paid sick leave can add to the administrative task for a business. Employers need to track who is taking sick leave and ensure they're complying with any relevant laws. It's important to note the impact of paid sick days can vary depending on the specific policies and circumstances of each workplace. It's also worth mentioning that many people believe access to paid sick days should be a basic worker's right. Now, employers, on the other hand, are going to argue the point that it hurts their bottom line. And the employers may feel that more paid sick days could hurt their bottom line for several reasons. Direct cost, providing paid sick days means that employers have to pay wages to employees even when they're not working. And this is an additional expense that directly affects the company's profits. And even the indirect costs. When an employee takes a sick day, the work they would have done either gets postponed or needs to be covered by other employers, other employees. Additional expenses directly affects the company's profits. This is what some employers are saying. Well, if someone comes in sick because they can't afford to take time off and they spread whatever they have, then you're going to have more employees off. So, can they have it both ways? Well, they have it both ways now, anyhow. So, when you're sick, this can lead to decreased productivity and potential overtime costs. This is an argument or a discussion. When a person's sick and they come in sick, their productivity drops because they're not feeling well. And maybe you come in sick and only have to leave. And then you have to take more days off. They feel that it's going to be an administrative burden in managing these paid sick leave policies. It's important to note that there are also arguments in favor of paid sick days, that they can actually benefit businesses in the long run by improving employee health and the morale, reducing turnover, and preventing the spread of illness in the workplace. The impact of paid sick days can vary depending on the specific policies and circumstances of each workplace. What are the potential benefits of offering more paid sick days? Well, Healthier employees. The primary goal of offering paid sick days is to allow employees to stay home when they're sick, leading to healthier employees. You're going to get higher productivity. Employees are generally less productive when they're ill, so they come in sick and they're not producing. Only to have to leave, like I said. By taking the time off to recover, they can return to work in a healthier state. Reducing the spread of illness. Paid sick days can help reduce the spread of illness in the workplace by encouraging sick employees to stay home. Public health and business benefits. Paid sick leave laws not only help workers but also benefit public health and businesses. And the savings of the employee not coming into work, not affecting other employees, not affecting customers. All of these pieces in the longer term do help support the business. Improved feelings of value and better benefits may make employees less likely to quit. Improve customers' perspective of the company because, hey, they say, hey, this company is a good company. They take care of their employees. Responsibility. Everybody recovers from an illness differently. Some may take longer to recover. Is 3 days enough to recover from an illness? Potentially. What are the common misconceptions about offering more paid sick days? Misconceptions: paid sick days aren't needed. Some believe that workers can rely on voluntary employer policies. More than 34 million people who work in the private sector, and this is the United States, are unable to earn a single day of job protected pay sick time through their employees. Misconception: paid sick days are expensive for employers. While it's true that paid sick days represent a cost to employers, they can also lead to savings in the other areas, such as reduced turnover and increased productivity. They're going to pay them either way. They're going to be at work or they're not going to be at work. It's just the fact is, let's say you're not at work, we're not going to pay you. Misconception: paid sick days will be abused. There's a fear that employees might misuse paid sick days, taking time off when they're not actually sick. Most workers use sick days responsibly, and abuse is not as common as some may think. Another misconception: paid sick days should be covered by government or insurance, not the employer. Some argue that the government or insurance should cover the cost of paid sick days. And not all employers, however, paid sick days are a form of insurance when the employer is self-insuring for when their employers are sick. Why should the government pay for the sick days? Why should everybody taxes pay for you to be when you're off sick? Another misconception: Employers must pay more if employees exceed their sick day. The fact that an employee is sick more often, there are available sick days, does not create an obligation of the employer to pay more. So it's important to note that the importance of paid sick days can vary depending on the specific policies and circumstances of each workplace. And also that many people believe that access to paid sick days should be a basic worker's right. I think so. Why not? When it comes to the small business, how does the paid sick days affect small business? Well, there's always the pros and cons, how it affects a small business. We could argue to the point that, when your when your employee is sick, but like I say, they have to come into work anyways because they can't afford to take time off because they're making low wages. They're going to come into work and they're going to spread whatever they have, whatever illness they have. If it's contagious, they're going to spread it. Now, reduce employee turnover. Offering paid sick days can increase employees' loyalty and job satisfaction because you feel that your employer is going to take care of it. It's going to take care of you. Offering paid sick days can increase the employee's loyalty and job satisfaction and potentially reducing turnover and the associated cost of hiring and training new employees. Better customer relationships. Increased costs while offering paid sick leave means the employer has to pay wages to employees even when they're not working. This can increase labor costs. How do other countries handle paid sick leave policies for small businesses or for any business? Paid sick leave policies are very greatly around the world. And in many countries have implemented systems that balance the needs of employees with the capabilities of small businesses. Sweden, companies usually provide sick pay instead of the usual wage for the first 2 weeks an employee is ill. After 2 weeks, workers can apply for health benefits. We can do that here in Canada. Employees can receive up to 25% and 100% of their salary for a maximum of 1 year. Iceland, employees can receive a minimum of 2 days of sick leave for every month they work. They may receive 100% of their salary for time off because of an illness, and some of which may come from the employer or social insurance. In Norway, offers sick benefits for up to 1 year. Employers who cover the first 16 days, the European Commission's Employment, Social Affairs, and Inclusion determines the amount paid to sick employees based on their salary from the previous 3 months. Denmark, workers receive up to 120.54 hourly compensation based on a 37-hour work week, and this may extend up to 22 weeks or longer. And in Germany, workers may receive sick pay during the time when a medical expert has confirmed an inability to work, and this could occur for about 78 weeks over a 3-year period per sickness. Slovenia, employees may receive compensation of between 80% to 100% of their salary, depending on whether the illness is work-related or not. The employer usually pays for the first month. Lithuania, employers in the country will receive payment at least 62% of their salaries. Belgium grants 1 month of paid sick leave for the white-collar workers at 100%. And the blue-collar workers get paid 7 days at 100%. Then up to 2 additional weeks can be taken at 60% of the regular salary. So if they need more time to recover. Canada offers 12 weeks of job protection, but the amount of paid leave will depend on the company. So these policies show a range of approaches to providing paid sick leave. Some countries have government-funded programs that supplement or replace employer-paid sick leave, reducing the burden on small businesses. Others require employers to provide paid sick leave, but offer protections to prevent abuse. Maybe the provincial government doesn't want to add another 2 days and give, the non-unionized sector 2 more days of pay because with fear of abuse, employers feel fear of abuse. It's not likely that's going to happen on a regular basis. Paid sick days are absolutely necessary to ensure workplace safety and to protect the public health and to protect others in the workplace. See, the federally regulated private sector comprises of the workplaces from a broad range of industries, including interprovincial air, rail, road, and marine transportation, banks and postal and carrier services. There are approximately 19,000 employers in federally regulated industries, including federal crown corporations, that together employ 945,000 people, or 6% of all Canadians' employees. Paid sick leave, medical leave with pay. It's a paid job protective leave under Part 3 of the Canada Labour Code that provides federally regulated private sector employees up to 10 days of leave per year. So the federal government can do this. Why can't the provincial government do this? The unpaid medical leave, which currently provides up to 17 weeks if they are unable to work as a result of an illness, injury, organ or tissue donation, or attending a medical appointments, and up to 16 weeks of leave as a result of quarantine. So, similar to other provisions of Canada Labour Code, the new paid sick leave is a minimum standard. And if there's an existing employer benefit that is greater than the new leave, the leave or benefit will be considered to meet the minimum standard. So Stats Canada reports that in 2019, well, this is not going back that far, really, Canadian workers were absent on an average of 8.5 days for illness or disability in a given year. And some employees will require no paid sick leave, while others will require 10 days or more, providing up to 10 days of paid sick leave will cover the needs of the majority of the employees. Nobody should have to go to work sick, and nobody should have to stay home sick and not get paid. So they come into work sick because they can't afford to take the time off. And then spread whatever the illness they have, if it's contagious. The flu is contagious. I don't support the employer's argument. What they say it's going to increase in overall costs. You have one employee off sick. How is that going to increase in your overall costs? It's going to increase in your overall cost if that employee comes in sick and spread whatever he has to the employees. Now you got 5 employees off, and especially if you're a small business, now you got 10 employees off. How is that productive? How's that gonna help the company? It's not gonna help the company. Then you got to get in temporary workers. You got to get the product out the door. I think it's beneficial that the Ontario provincial government implements up to 10 days paid sick leave, as the federal government is doing for the federal regulated industries. Everybody should have that protection. No one should have to be worried about how they're going to pay their bills. If I take a day off, I lose a day's pay. Well, that's going to affect the employee's bottom line because now they're less a day's pay and they still have bills to pay because bills don't go away. Bills accumulate if they're not paid. And that just adds stress on top of the stress that the employer already has. And feeling stressed and feeling sick and have to come into work because you can't take a day off. Our mental health relies on us being healthy. We shouldn't have that worrisome. Three days pay in non-federal regulated industries is not enough. Everybody recovers differently from an illness. Some may need more time than others. Yes, we all have that common cold throughout the year. Common cold isn't a winter cold. Common cold, you get common cold any time of the year. Flu has a season. So the burden on the small business, others require employers to provide paid sick leave, but offer protections to prevent abuse. Right? Doesn't matter. Their argument is it always comes down to the bottom line. That's the employer's argument. Comes down to the bottom line. It hurts the bottom line. If the employer if the employee has to be off more than 3 days, hurts the bottom line. It's going to hurt the bottom line, all right, when you have more employees off because that employee came in sick. I don't support their argument. They don't have an argument because it comes the bottom line. What comes down to the bottom line is that you give the employee more time to recover, come back healthy, not spreading whatever they have throughout the workplace. Productivity goes up, not down. Contrary to the opposite, if an employee comes in sick because they can't take the time off and they spread whatever they have throughout the workplace, now you have more employees off, that's going to hurt your bottom line. More sick leave, better benefits for all. The provincial government doesn't have an argument when it comes to implementing sick days. They're going to favor, on the small business side of those going to hurt their bottom line. It's bogus. So Canadian workers, just going back in 2019, on an average of 8.5 days for illness or disability in a given year. 8.5 days for an illness. There's no abuse here. Maybe in the union sector where people have, they generally they had 10 days, whatever their collective agreement was, 10 days paid sick leave, and now, all the federally regulated industries have 10 days paid sick leave. Maybe, in unions, there's abuse when it comes to using their paid sick days when they're not sick, because they want a long weekend. Maybe they want to take that Friday off. Maybe they want to take that Monday off. And they're not really sick. Get a paid day anyways. You don't have to provide a doctor's note. Maybe they want to extend it to a 4-day weekend. Take the Friday and the Monday off. You don't have to provide a doctor's note. I don't have to provide a doctor's note now. Fact is that if I'm sick, I'm sick. People can have the flu up to 5 days or more. Some people just, maybe they're sick for 4 days, or maybe 5 days. Maybe they're only sick for 3 days. I think there's more pros than cons to more paid sick days off. And that in fact, it would benefit the companies out there, all companies, that you get well, that you recover, and you come back to work. It'll help the bottom line, not hurt the bottom line. And for all you Maple Leaf fans out there, I'm one of them. Yes, we lost in Game 7 last night. I'm not taking sick leave tomorrow because my hockey team lost, because I have the Maple Leaf syndrome. We get the Maple Leaf syndrome every year. It's a common illness when the Maple Leafs lose. We have tears in our beer. Get over it. There's always next year. And the year after that. And the year after that. Cheer them on while they're on the golf course. I haven't really seen any headlines. Well, I haven't really looking for any headlines on last night's hockey game and what the media is going to have to say, because they're going to be all over it. Well, once again, Toronto Maple Leafs were ousted by the Boston Bruins in Game 7 in Round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. This year's round playoffs was probably, between these two teams, was by far the best playoff round that I've watched between Toronto and Boston. It was a nitty-gritty hockey game series. So, Leaf Nation, hang your heads high. Be proud of your hockey team. Cheer them on for every season. You'll feel better tomorrow. It'll all be in the past, and we'll all be looking forward to next season. So as the curtains have dropped, the curtains will reopen at Center Ice next October. And when you fill the seats and cheer your team on, and in hopes of the next playoff round, and in hopes that they get past the first round. So, my Maple Leaf fans, don't go away in despair. Don't go away in sadness. Go away in cheer. Have another beer. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. This is the Truckers Podcast, FYI. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And, of course, another busy week coming up. And whatever you do, whatever it is you're going to be doing, be safe. And maybe I can maybe I can come out another evening this week. It's hard to determine whether I can or I can't. My schedule is hectic. I would love to be out here every evening. I can't guarantee that. I can't say I'm going to be out here on Monday at 8 p.m. and then not be out here on Monday at 8 p.m. Friday, I didn't walk into my front door until after 8 o'clock. So for now, it's the weekends. Saturday morning, Sunday morning. I got to work on getting more guest speakers on the show. That's a task in itself. That's a lot of work in itself. Sending the emails, answering the emails, replying, try and set up a date that is, adequate for the guest speaker. Work around their schedule. It's a lot of work. I had one on March 31st. You can go back and listen to that episode on March 31st. I had Mr. Ethan Brown from Connecticut, climate journalist. Fantastic. That was a fantastic show. I want more of those shows. But shit happens. Life happens every single day. Upgrading my equipment, my microphone, my interface, the mic boom. To give you, my listeners and my followers, the best quality sound I possibly can give you. I enjoy the show more. I go back and I replay it and I listen to it. And if you listen to any of the past shows, if you a month ago or whatever, and then you listen to today's episode or last week's episodes, with this new microphone, there's a difference between night and day. So by saying that is that I spend a lot of money and I want to get the use out of it. I want to do more shows. I like to have more shows. I think I'm pushing 460. 400, I think it's around 460 episodes since 2019. Just basically, from time to time, maybe you got a one in the evening or, but mostly it's on the weekends for pushing 460 episodes. It's going to take longer to get to 500 doing it twice a week. It's going to take more than 40 days. If I did one every day, it would take just over a month and a half to hit 500. But anyhow, for now, weekends is what it is, and I appreciate you coming out and listening to the Truckers Podcast, FYI, because you are the podcast. Because without you, there'd be no podcast. That's how important listeners are. You are the podcast. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Be safe out there. And I will be back out here next Saturday morning, 8:30 a.m. and Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Till we meet again, take care and thank you. This is the Truckers Podcast, FYI. I'm your host, Doug from Ontario, Canada. Thank you.